Bigfoot doesn't exist. That's what I used to believe until me and my friends spent some time camping and hiking in the South Cascades, Washington. It was our second night camping, and our first night had been uneventful, but it certainly didn't continue that way. While we were settling down to sleep, we heard knocking sounds outside. Although it startled us, we discussed whether to venture out to see what had made them. But neither me nor either of my friends were brave enough, so we just listened quietly in the hope we heard nothing else. Unfortunately, we were wrong, and it became obvious that something large was moving around outside. We all thought maybe it was a bear, and with bear spray in hand, I unzipped the tent as quietly as I could to look outside. I was totally unprepared for what I saw. Looking round, from behind a large tree was an animal that had to have been 7.5 to 8 feet tall, and so heavily set, it looked like it could have uprooted that tree. Its face was ape-like, but not quite, and I could see its features quite clearly in the moonlight. I swore and quickly moved away from the tent door, and my two friends were white-faced and scared, asking me what is out there. I said it's f***ing Bigfoot, and one of my friends immediately looked for himself, then sprang to the back of the tent. My other friend refused to look, obviously terrified. We were at a loss for what to do, so we did nothing, just sat frozen. For the next hour we could still hear movement. For the next 4 hours after that until dawn, practically silence, but we still sat there whispering about how unbelievable the encounter had been. We packed up and left soon after dawn. My name is Phil. Neither of my friends wanted to be named. Some things just seemed too incredible, I suppose.
The night was thick with the kind of darkness that plays tricks on your eyes. I was navigating a winding road in the heart of the Pacific Northwest, a place whispered about for its mysterious sightings. My headlights carved a path through the black night, painting the trees with fleeting glimpses of light. As I rounded a bend, my heart drummed a rapid beat against my chest. Standing in the middle of the road was a towering figure, a silhouette so immense it blocked the entire lane. Panic surged through me, my foot instinctively slamming on the brakes. My mind raced through possibilities. A bear? A trick of the shadows. But as my headlights reached it, there was no denying what stood in front of me. It was unmistakably a creature, its eyes reflecting the light. It was huge, well over 7 feet tall, and stood on 2 legs like a human, but this was no person. It was covered in thick brown hair, very muscular and powerful looking, and its face was ape-like but longer, and its expression showed intelligence. I think that was one of the scariest things about it. Time hung suspended as we locked eyes, the creature seemingly unbothered by my presence. Then with surprising grace, it took 3 large steps, disappearing into the darkness of the forest on the other side of the road. My hands trembled on the steering wheel as I sat there, stunned. I grabbed for my phone, desperate to capture proof of what I just witnessed. But as quickly as it appeared, the creature was gone, leaving only the memory of what must have been a Bigfoot and the eerie stillness of the night.
So my husband and I decided to take a stroll along this beautiful woodland trail near our cabin. It was one of those perfect days, the air crisp, the trees whispering in the breeze. We were laughing and chatting until I caught a glimpse of something huge darting behind a tree. I froze mid-sentence, and my husband must have noticed the look on my face. "What's wrong?" he asked, scanning the trees. I shook it off, passing it as my imagination, but as we kept walking, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every now and then, I'd see a flash of something massive and hairy out of the corner of my eye. "Honey, did you see that?" I whispered, gripping my husband's arm. He squinted at the trees. "I don't see anyth." Before he could finish, there it was again, this massive shadowy figure peeking from behind a cluster of bushes. My heart raced. We picked up our pace, and every time we turned, I felt like I could see this thing following, always just out of clear view. It was surreal, like something out of those crazy documentaries. We made it back to the cabin, and I swear, the feeling of being watched lingered. We didn't talk much that night, both of us lost in our thoughts about what we might have seen. But one thing's for sure, I'll never forget that eerie feeling of being tailed by something that big and mysterious in those woods.